Welcome to the Yogi Show, Down the Rabbit Hole, featuring Anton Wisbiski. Today, the episode's sponsored by Suja Juice. Suja Juice develops 7 chef-crafted juices in collaboration with Whole Foods. So you can walk into any of your Whole Foods nationwide and you can find these juices there. They're packed with key vitamins, minerals, and premium functional ingredients offering benefits from beauty to immunity, energy, and detoxification. Personally, these juices help me when I make memes. I drink a juice, I make a meme, and I post it and make you laugh. So definitely go to your local Whole Foods and check out Suja Juice, or go to sujajuice.com. Delicious, refreshing, nice, ice-cold juices that boost your immune system and get you a little beauty too along the way. So definitely check that out. Let's get to the show.
Showtime on the Yogi Show Podcast, episode number 2 of Down the Rabbit Hole with Mr. Anton Wisbiski. What's up, gentlemen? How are you this evening, Anton?
What's up? We're back. Round 2. Let's go.
We're back. Round 2 of the mini-series Down the Rabbit Hole. Brian, are you down the rabbit hole this week or what on TikTok?
Round 2, got the rain stick down the rabbit hole. Boom. What's up, bros?
What up? And if you are not watching on YouTube, if you're streaming this on audio, know that it is available on YouTube, and we do have video, and it's kind of fun to watch the interactions, and you can see Brian's rain stick and ridiculous mannerisms and everything that's happening. So, and
you get Pedro's headphones, so that's always a win too.
I got the kitty cat headphones going on, people, and my neighbor actually reached out to me when I posted the video of us from our last volume 1, and he's like, "Bro, I got some new headphones. Like, are you home right now? I'm bringing them over." And I was like, I don't need them. I'm good.
You're like, I'm good, man.
You're gonna sell those on eBay someday for like thousands of dollars. Like someone's gonna want them.
It doesn't matter that only the right earphone works, right? It's all good.
Yeah, that's binaural beats or one neural.
So it's been a lot of fun since our last episode. A lot has changed. It's been a month or so since we debuted that episode, and things are rolling. So I know it's so fast. It's so interesting how fast life changes and things are going on. Like now, Anton went to Poland. He went and hung out with Wim Hof. And now he's back. And so he's here to tell us a little bit about that today. And we were going to start the show with Dharma and purpose, because as we go on our path, that continues to change. I know for me, I'll just share my thing for 1 second, and then we'll kick it to Anton. My purpose, I thought, was I didn't know what it was. I didn't know. And then I'm kind of just like going through the weeds, going through the motions of life. I'm like, okay, like if I just make more money and then I got a white picket fence, like everything's going to work itself out. And it just wasn't how it was. It wasn't until I found yoga and I started peeling back the layers of the onion that I, really dove into that purpose and leaned in. But I love Anton's take on purpose. So let's go to Anton. Give us Dharma, Anton, what it means to you and how you're living your life's purpose in these moments.
Great question. I think it's always evolving. I feel like I say that a lot. But I do feel as if your life purpose is always evolving. And I think a lot of people think you have to be born with it. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think it's something we discover as we evolve personally. And as we get better, we start to see the truth of who we actually are and what we actually want to do. So like for me, it's always been, I want to help people. Well, that's such a broad statement. So that mindset and that belief took me certain routes. Obviously, I have a social media agency, so I do help people bring their message to the world. I always wanted to spread a good message. So that Dharma started with making videos and spreading a positive message in that manner and making the world a better place, helping people through maybe giving them a piece of inspiring content, maybe giving them people of heartfelt content that moved them in a certain way. Maybe it was to market a product that I knew would help them to make their life better. So that's where it started for me. And as I grew personally and started going down my own down the rabbit hole journey of personal evolution, I realized I wanted to help people in a much more direct way, which is what I'm blessed to do today with, meditation and breath work and helping people really transform on a deeper level. Because that for me is like the most rewarding thing. And I do believe deep down, everybody wants to help people like in a way. So I guess that would be my take. What are your guys' thoughts?
I love it, man. Brian, what do you think, bro?
That's good stuff, Anton. I mean,
That's juicy,
really
Anton. That's juicy.
Juicy, really juicy stuff. I mean, Dharma is, for me, it's like, it is evolving, and I feel like it's evolving for everyone, just because, I never thought I would be on a podcast talking to you all bros about yoga, like 5 years ago, I'd be like, you're nuts. Like that's not me. And now I'm here talking about yoga and like, just, I used to play competitive golf, and that's part of my journey now. That's part of my journey now, because when I played competitive golf, like I had to be in the moment to like play as good as I could. I had to stay in the present, commit to the process. That's something that I told myself over and over again when I was on the golf course. Stay in the present, commit to the process, be in the moment. I can't think about the shot that I just hit bad 10 seconds ago. I have to focus on the shot now, and I can't think about the shot in the future. That's really how yoga is and how my life is now when I meditate. Like I just have to stay in the moment, and really like it is just evolving. And I can't like an example is I started a TikTok, and now I'm making like meditation videos where I like cuss a little bit. And I never thought like I would be like, I thought I was just going to be writing memes and doing this podcast, but like my whole social media and like yoga teaching journey has evolved because I committed to posting one post a day on TikTok for 30 days, and then it evolved into this. So I just feel like, you kind of got to go with the flow. And I want to help people, but helping people is completely different than I thought it was going to be when I started this journey. Yeah. So I can't really like put like a pinpoint on like how that has to look, right. But I can say like how it feels like if I trust my gut and how it feels, like I just keep trusting my gut, and I help people out in the way that I'm helping out today. And that might change tomorrow. Like if another social media comes out or like another idea comes out. So it is evolving, and it is strange, and it is all about trusting your gut. What do you think, Pedro?
Yeah, intuition, and when people message me on yogi memes, like, oh my gosh, your content makes really like lightens me up. It really makes my day. It makes me so happy, and I'm, really fills me up. And I'm like, I'm just making memes in my bedroom. Like, and I'm not thinking about like the global impact that they may have by that person laughing at the meme, then being kind to someone else or sharing it with their friends, and it's just like, whoa, like we are really making an impact. Each and every person in the world is making an impact in their own unique way. That's what makes everybody so special, is every single person has their own unique gift to share with the world. Your Dharma is just, your purpose is just to find your purpose, like that, and then just share that with the world. I've said that before on the show, and that just makes, I love that. I love that feeling of knowing that every single person that you come in contact with they offer something unique and different. So whatever your message is out there that you're listening to this show, like whatever you feel like it is today, don't be attached to this is how it's going to be forever. This is how it is right now.
Exactly.
And then keep going through the process, and get out of your own way. Allow the process to unfold before your very eyes.
Dude, such a good point. And something I want to hit on too is how all of us kind of have vehicles for, I guess, a quote unquote purpose. We have social media, yoga, we have, breath work, meditation. We're teachers of that. So it gives us that ability to feel as if we're in our purpose. But I feel like for the person who's listening, who may just work at a restaurant, or, maybe they're, for some reason, I want to say maybe they're a librarian or something, something random. They may not feel as if I have a purpose, but I think a piece of value maybe we could share with them is how, in those jobs, being the best person you can be, making the best food, serving it in the best way, going above and beyond to help somebody, doing more than you're paid for, maybe a really great way to accelerate your process of feeling as if you have a purpose. And that could open doors. That could totally change somebody else's life by the person you're being. It's like Gandhi said, be the change you want to be in the world. And you don't have to be doing something so massive where you have global impact. It can literally just be being the best person you can be in every moment. And I think when you carry that attitude into all the things you do, it takes you down a magical road.
100%, 100%. And when you were talking, something came up to me, like say if you're a librarian or whatever you're doing in your life right now, one thing that really changed like my whole aspect and my whole life is listening to Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, like his audio tapes, and we'll like link them in the show or whatever. But that really like changed my trajectory of my life. Listen to Think and Grow Rich. And like one of his principles was going the extra mile, going the extra mile in what you're doing. Like say if you're a librarian or you're working or whatever, like if you go the extra mile and if you give like so much, like you're going to outpace the person that's not even doing the bare minimum of their job, and then that's something that like totally blew my mind away. Like if you're looking for promotion or if you're looking to get ahead, go the extra mile, do what the next step is for your position, and you're going to get it like automatically, like naturally.
Yep. Yeah. And it's like something I used to always tell myself when I was an employee was, if I own this business, how would I be operating? Like, dude, that totally changes your mindset. And if you can't put yourself in those shoes now, or at least imagine it, you'll never get there. So when you start acting from that manner, I think it just evolves who you are. You just naturally start to become a better person. And in turn, you're rewarded from the universe because you're just spreading blessings everywhere you're going, because you're just trying to be the best you can be. And I think the universe, God, whatever, rewards that type of behavior. I mean, that's what I've witnessed through my life. So I think it's a great way to start.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how, when I was a debt collector, guys, like I was like,
you were a debt collector?
Yo, I was the best fucking debt collector, just so you know. I was the fucking best. That. There's the ego. Awesome. There's all the ego right there. I'm just laying it all out there for you people.
There it is. Hey man, no hiding on this show.
Just laying it out there in these kitty cat headphones. So, but it's just like I didn't like, I knew I wasn't gonna be a debt collector forever, but in the moment I was there to serve. I was just there to like do the best that I could with the situation I was in, and I was working and I was making money doing my thing, and I was like, but on the other end of the phone is someone struggling. So how do I be more compassionate and kind to this person? Because that helps. Like that is way better than you kill more bees with honey, or you attract more bees with honey than like, whatever. There's this saying, I don't remember what the fuck it was, but something like that, like being kind, just be kind. And it's just served me so much better and serves the world so much better. So and then, then it leads on to other things and you grow. And, for me, it's like, when I was in those moments, working a job that I wasn't sure about that was going to be forever, I knew it wasn't going to be forever. Like, how do you get to the next step? It's like, okay, like, let me first get out of my own way. And like these self-limiting beliefs of like, I'm not worthy of like, I'm going to yoga. Like, I'm not worthy of being the yoga teacher. Like, I'm just the yoga student, And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. If I change that in my brain, like I want to serve people like somebody served me, then it's like, oh, if I come at it from that perspective, just flipping the perspective on it, all of a sudden, wait a minute, like it can happen. Just get out of your own way. So that's how like these self-limiting beliefs, like they've been coming up for me lately, guys, with like just like life things happening, like, oh, maybe I'm just not, maybe I'm trying to do too much. Maybe I'm extra. Maybe I'm just like not good enough. These stupid thoughts, but they're real thoughts. And I'm like, you know what? I was listening to Jocko. Do you guys listen to Jocko podcast?
I do not.
Okay. So he's like Navy SEAL, like high ranking, and his podcast, motivational kind of stuff. And he's like, lean in. And I was like, yo, lean into the self-limiting beliefs and the doubt and the fear. And then boom, when you break through the door, it's like, crushing through. And it's like, oh man, like freedom on the other side, from yourself, from your damn self.
Yeah. Cause there really is no door,
No.
The door is the illusion.
Yeah.
So when you lean into it, you realize, oh shit, there's not even a door there.
Yeah, and the Kool-Aid man busting through,
It's like, hey.
So, but yeah, like just getting out of your own way, getting out of your own way and your doubts and your fears, like leaning in. And that's like the one thing that if I could take like this podcast, not the one thing, but one of the things for sure is like when in the face of the tiger or the lion, is like lean into that and you're going to crush it. Like you're going to crush it. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
I love it, bro.
And Anton, what was it like overcoming, is that even a word? Overcoming like self-limiting beliefs when you were going through your experience in Poland? Were you having those doubts and fears when you were just in Poland with Wim on the mountain? Can you give us a little bit of insight on what that was like? Because we haven't had a conversation about that. So this is news to everybody all at once.
Oh man. Yeah. So to give context to the listeners, if you didn't listen to the first episode, I went to Wim Hof winter expedition, 7 days of absolute hell with the Iceman himself. And fuck, man. That's a great summary of the trip right there. Just fuck, man. It was so extremely challenging. For me, I have not been the most physically capable person my entire life. This is a limiting belief I had. Mm-hmm. Especially because when I was in middle school, I cheated on the mile run. That was just like,
how'd you do it? What did
I finessed it, bro. Instead of doing 3 rounds around the track, I did 2. I don't know what I did, but I finessed it. And it was because like my mental was not strong enough to like be able to push it, because I didn't think I had the cardio strength to do it, man. I never did any type of physical crazy sports or anything like that. So I had a lot of limiting beliefs. So in going in this trip, I knew I was going to be forced so much from a physical standpoint, because for me, I can sit down and meditate for 4 hours, 3 hours, no problem, like no problem. But to think about climbing a mountain in my shorts for 3.5 hours just sounded completely dreadful.
What temperature?
It does. It sounds horrendous.
Yeah, man. It was around 30 Fahrenheit at the bottom. Once you get to the top, it was about like 2, 3, 4 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
So, yeah.
Wow.
It was cold.
I run to my car when it's 50 degrees, like from my place. Like I run, and I like have frostbite there.
Dude, yeah. So it's crazy though. And this will be shown. So we're making a little documentary about it. But the mountain was actually really easy. It was actually one of the easier things. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll share with you guys the hardest thing. Please. So the something I loved about this entire trip was that there was no schedule. Every day you woke up completely in the unknown. You had no idea what you were doing for that day. So we would wake up. We would usually so we stayed in Wim's house, which was really cool.
How many people?
There was 20 in our group, and there was about 100 and some with the entire group. So, okay. But they break you off amongst like your age and different stuff like that.
Okay.
So they put 20 of us in Wim's house, which was just such a cool experience. And every morning you wake up like 7 a.m. and you go into like I want to call it the meditation room. And they just give you like a 5-minute, like, good morning, da, 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 da. All right, breath work. Just do straight like holotropic breathing for a good hour and a half. Sometimes 2 hours. So they're just like out of the gate, dude. You're there's no really explanations. You're just going with it. So it was really intense. Some power breathing in there, some Wim Hof, typical classic breathing where you do the holds and the squeezing. And I mean, that alone for somebody who has never done experience, like never sat down and done breath work, is so intense, man. I mean, you can have so much different trauma come up and processing and mystical experiences and out of body and all this types of stuff. So you're just starting the day with a punch. and keep in mind, we don't even know. Like we just sit down. They're like, all right, we're going to do this. And they're like, just breathe. And there's like not really much instructions. We have the coaches there guiding us. So we do that. And then it's like, okay, let's go eat breakfast. And then really the day starts. So fast forward to day 4. We woke up, did the breath work. They said, okay, get your beach wear. we're going. And we had already done ice baths throughout the week, and our group was pretty confident. Like we were a good group of guys. We're all kind of young and ambitious and motivated. And our facilitators took note of that. And so, Wim Hof is all about humility and respecting Mother Nature. So they take us deep into the forest, man. And, all we have is our swim. We have our clothes on, but like our warm clothes, but we brought our bathing suits and towels, and we're walking a mile in. So we're like, okay, like if we're walking a mile in, we're going to have to walk a mile back when you're cold. And like all the stories start to play. What's going on? Like what's going on? Like, what are we doing? So we get to the river and they're like, okay, use all the techniques you've learned to warm your body up. So what that consisted of is just like, do you guys know horse stance where you kind of like squat down?
I've practiced.
Okay, perfect. So horse stance with what we call ha breathing, where you go,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just to warm your body up. You're kind of doing some deep inhales, deep exhales to just warm your body up, because they're not really guiding us fully. They want us to use our own intuition through what we've learned from the prior days to get ready for whatever it is we're about to do, because we don't fully know yet. All we know is there's water and we're getting warm and it's fucking cold out. So after about like 10 minutes of warming up, they say, okay, get in the water. We all pile in. And keep in mind, you don't know how long you're going in for. So we get in, 3 minutes goes by, 4 minutes goes by. The water's like, 35, 36 degrees. It's flowing river, so it's freezing from the mountaintop, which is filled with snow. And there wasn't actually snow on the ground, which actually they explained it makes it colder, which I didn't understand, because snow works as like a type of insulation. So we go in the water for about 6 to 7 minutes. We come out, and 6 to 7 minutes in an ice bath is fucking hard alone. So we come out and they're like, okay, we're not going back to the hotel until everybody's warm. So at the hotel, there's saunas. So, nice hot saunas. So we're like, okay, soaking wet head to toe in freezing cold weather. And they're like, okay, warm up.
Brian's cringing, bro.
Fucking have frostbite listening to this story.
Just wait, dude, it gets better. So we're doing horse dance, going crazy, screaming, yelling, chanting, just trying to be a tribe. There's 20 of us. We're really using our energy to just warm our bodies up. And for me, man, my feet, dude, I couldn't feel my feet, bro. And I was like, this is getting a little much here, man. I mean, my feet it's like you can't feel them, but they're stinging. It's like I felt like the borderline of the beginning of hypothermia. And you're trying to do everything you can to warm up. And we do this brown fat activation exercise. We and then the last one you squeeze, and it's supposed to like do something with your brown fat. I forget all the science, but it pretty much warms up your core, and your body naturally takes all the blood out of your arms and feet to protect your heart and your internal organs. Because if those go, you die. So like your hands and arms are so cold, man. So you're just trying everything. So about 30 to 45 minutes into this, they say, okay, go back in the water. And we're like, are you fucking shitting me?
No. Oh, no.
So we're like, I mean, okay, like we don't have a choice.
I'm
like,
dying.
You're right, and you can't say no, because you're a tribe, and you're only as strong as the weakest member of the tribe. So we have like this kind of non-verbal agreement of like, we're doing this. Like it's like that kind of the stare,
everyone looks at each other.
It's like, we got to do it. So for me, I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm gonna like actually like survive. Like I contemplated that I could possibly die. I swear to God, like this actually was a thought. Because I mean, we've been outside now for over an hour in our shorts, and now we're wet. Now we're going back in the water. It's like, what the fuck? And we don't know how long. We don't know how hard they're going to push us. And keep in mind, this isn't some like structured setting where it's like there's a ladder to crawl into the water. It's like, no, you're walking on fucking rocks. The water's flowing. And when your feet are completely numb, you know how hard it is to walk on rocks? It's so hard, dude, because your feet are not working. You can't get control of them. So you're like trying to figure it out. So we get in the water, we huddle up. And this was a really divine moment for our group, because for all of us, I think every single person's mind just shut off. Like, and they're screaming at you because your adrenaline is so high that your sense of sound is different. So they're literally yelling. They're like, don't let fear in. Like, you're stronger than that. It's like Navy SEAL shit.
Oh, damn.
So we are all huddled up, all circled up. And for me, my mind just shuts off. Stillness, dude. Like I've never felt in my entire life. Just survival. Nothing. Like Wim Hof talks about survival. It's like I understood what he meant by like your mind. You can't think about your bills and how you can't pay your rent and blah blah blah. It's like you are so fucking present. All you're doing is living in that moment because your body has no other choice but to survive. So your fight or flight's on, and for me, it was like this overwhelming sense of peace. It was really interesting because you're under so much stress that your intellectual and your analytical mind just goes out the window, and then you're just with your soul, what I felt like. And I remember looking around, and all of us were kind of like looking up. It's like we're in Poland, we're in nature, there's trees, flowing water, like you're noticing like the pain, yet the calmness in each of the person's faces, because if you freak out, you're done. Like you are done, especially in that state, man. It's a mile walk away. Like,
gosh.
So you're completely in control. So then it was about 3 to 4 minutes roughly that we stayed in there, which again is hard in itself. We come out, and then that next moment of trying to get warm was the hardest 30 minutes of my entire life.
You had to warm back up?
So we had to warm back up. So they're like, okay, now we'll actually go back once everyone's kind of warm. Dude, I was screaming. I was chanting. I was just doing anything I possibly could to warm my body up, because once again, my feet and hands were gone, man. I mean, just destroyed. So after, it was really cool. So after about 20 to 30 minutes, I think the timelines are hard to remember, but we have this all on film. We come together as a group, and the group was actually steaming. So
like literally
steaming.
Like fajitas coming in.
Coming in real hot.
Hot take.
And although like when you touched your body, it felt like you were warm, you weren't actually warm. Like you weren't physically warm. It was you were warmer than you were a few minutes ago.
in the icy river.
In the icy river, exactly. So for me, it was funny because we were filming, and then this crazy, like, I mean, we were fucking yelling at the top of our lungs, man. Like, because it's just, you're just not you. You're just out of your body. You're into your soul, and your body's just figuring out, because your body knows what to do. You just got to get out of the way.
Right.
So after we're done, they're like, okay, you can go put your clothes on. And I'm trying to put my sock on. It's just not happening, man. It's just not happening, because your foot is numb, and you're trying to feel the sock, and you just can't, and you're like shaking. And my buddy Sky, who was filming for me, he comes up to me. He's like, bro, how do you feel? He's like, how do you feel? Like, what's going on? And like, I didn't even know he was talking to me. Like, I was so not there. And it took me like a good 30 seconds to be like, I just feel like I'm God. Like, I don't even know where that came from. It was like this sense of oneness with, it's hard to explain because everything. It was really, really crazy, man. So then finally get the clothes back on, and we start walking back, and I still can't feel my feet. And I start crying because I realized in that moment how big of an ungrateful piece of shit I've been for everything in my life. Because I'm like, dude, in this moment, all I want is my toes to be warm. I don't care about anything else in life. Nothing else matters. All I want is a little bit of warmth in my toes. And then just this like overwhelming kind of like introspective thoughts of like, wow, dude, like think about all the areas of your life. Like you have a successful business, you have an amazing girlfriend, you have an amazing family, you have this, you have that, and you take it for granted. So that's what nature taught me in that lesson. And Wim said in the beginning of the week, he's like, we're going to break you down to build you up. And Mother Nature, you can't disrespect her. Like you can't have an ego in that situation. It's like you are humbling yourself to earth, to nature, and you're nothing. And when you realize how small you are, you also get a sense of how big you are in the midst of it all. So it was that day for me, that was a transition for me personally, because I was just on my knees, man. I mean, I felt like I had nothing, and it humbles you, man, and it makes you realize like, fuck, I've been an ungrateful piece of shit.
You had an amazing journey, man. Amazing story. And, you know, when you came on before we started recording, Pedro and I were talking about how fucking great you look. Like your cells just regenerated. Normally it takes 7 years to regenerate. And Anton, all of his cells regenerated since the last time we recorded.
He did it
you got life.
He did it in 7 days in Poland, people.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. And when you were talking about putting on your sock, like that was me before yoga, like 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I put on my fucking socks.
That's so crazy, man. What a story, Anton. And to reflect on that for a moment, obviously, like so much happening there that in that moment, leaning into fear, taking it all the way down to the depths of the soul of just finding, just being literally one with everything is so powerful and transformational. So it just goes to show like the people out there that are, everyone that's listening is like, just that gratitude list that Brian always talks about and being grateful for the things that we do have and not for the things that we lack.
Big facts.
Is so key. And so hopefully that, that beautiful story, I mean, everyone loves a good story, and man, I was moved, I'm ready to go to Poland, man. I'm sitting, Brian, are you going to go?
Fuck no. I mean, if I get invited, sure. But
okay.
Gosh,
right.
I'm the biggest overthinker. Like, so I was like, in my shoes.
Great for you.
I was thinking like, I was probably dead, like, before you guys went back into the pond. Like I was probably lying on the field somewhere over there. But no, like it really is like about overthinking shit. Like I recently went to, like, I was invited to do like trapeze, like recently, like there's a trapeze dude here in Trapezius, Arizona. And like, I fucking wanted to quit like so fast, like after doing it. Cause I was just out of my comfort zone and I was overthinking shit. And like finally, until I like relaxed and just let my body do it, like I knew what to do. Like it was just way better. It was like a life lesson of not fucking overthinking it. And that's what I've heard. Like, that's what I heard in your story, it's just like fucking overthinking. And then finally just being in the moment and
you have to surrender. Mm-hmm. Like Wim Hof. So a lot of people, and I want to share this as well. So for me, leading up to Poland, as you guys know, I used to do ice baths every single day. Like it was part of my routine. Well, part of my, I guess, ambition and motivation to push myself to do ice baths every single day was to really prep for this trip, because I didn't know fully what was going to happen. And I just I was trying to make the ice exposure more easy. That's what I was subconsciously doing to be prepared for Poland, for Wim Hof. Well, what Wim made super clear to me and to the group, and what you just learned through experience, is that the cold never fucking gets easy. You can know every technique in the world. You're going to be cold. And when you accept that, and you say, okay, I'm going to do 10 minutes, and you don't try to say, oh, I'm going to do 10 minutes because I'm going to hit 10 minutes and then be done. It's like, no, I'm going to go in, I'm going to feel every moment and surrender fully to this cold, surrender fully to this experience, and let go and get out of my thinking mind. And for me, it just was a total perspective and paradigm shift of like how I was viewing the ice bath. And I feel a lot of people view it like, okay, I'm just going to do 2 minutes, then be done. It's like, no, go in, feel the 2 minutes, be there, and be aware of what's coming up for you and how you're feeling. And then once you do it enough, it drops you into that oneness state, that meditation. So I love it, man. It was so fun. and Brian, dude, I think the like kind of like analytical, like thought process, this would be perfect for you, because it just it just takes you and punches you in the mouth, man. It's like you can't even have an analytical mind if you wanted to, because you're being so broken down. But then at the end of the week, when you climb the mountain, you're like, dude, I'm the fucking shit. Look, I just climbed a mountain in my shorts and it was easy. It's like this confidence boost of like, wow, I'm way more powerful than I think. And when I get out of my way, I tap into deeper parts of me.
Yeah,
100%. And it's like, some, like for me, like cold is something that like I run away from. And it's like, that's what I need more of in my life. Like I need more. Lean in.
There it is.
It's so good. Cause like you get like, especially these days living here in the USA, you could freaking order everything to your house and like almost not get outside of your house, I'm just like all day today, I've just been recording stuff and like, I'm like, should I go eat, or should I just like, I don't want to deal with people. Like I'm going to freaking order it in. But it's like getting out of the comfort zone, like doing these things that you don't want to do, and like interacting with people, or like facing the cold, or just leaning into these fears. Like it really, really, really provides that growth. What do you think, Pedro?
So much growth comes from the outside of the comfort zone. There's so many quotes on that, but it's like so true. It's so true. And I want to touch on surrender in nature for just a second. So I teach full moon beach yoga here locally in Florida. And so obviously you guys know on the full moon, everything gets a little bit stirred up and crazy out in the world. And there's this thing called moon tide. So the ocean gets pissed and, it roars and it's always happening. Every time we go out there for the beach, not always, but pretty much always when we go out for the full moon beach yoga, there's a lot of people that come and you never know what's going to happen, man. And so it could be super, like yesterday was super windy when we were out there and people still show up. They want to have a cool experience and they come and they gather, and the beach has taught me like the ultimate surrender. Mother Nature has just taught me to surrender to like whatever it's going to do. Like I'm not in control. I'm just here to hold the space for the people that show up, but I am not in control at all. At all. So Mother Nature has been one of my best teachers too. I just wanted to share that, for sure. And one of my best teachers. True.
Like one thing too, in that Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich audio tape and book that I listened to is like watch nature, like watch what the animals eat, like watch what animals do. And like we're animals, like watch that stuff, observe. And like, really like it comes back to observing, like, and like we're all saying like, you can't control nature. Like you just can't control nature. Like you have to surrender to it. Like
yes. Yeah, yes. No doubt, man. No doubt. And it goes back to like always, coming back to the breath, coming back to the moment, coming back to the present, all that kind of stuff, and it really is so true. And, I wanted to hit on breath work on this episode of the show. And I know Anton's been working on some stuff with breath work, and, Brian and I, as people are listening to this episode that's going to come out, like we're towards the end of the meditation experience where we've, done some breathing, done some grounding, and gone through some stuff together on our meditation experience. And I did one of Anton's meditations recently, and it was amazing. The breath work that I felt like I was floating, like I was, man. I seriously, like I got out of that thing and I was charged up, man. I was ready to go. Like, I was ready, at like 5 a.m. Like I'm ready, So, so Anton, hit on some breath work and what it does. Like, how does it rejuvenate you? And how do you, when you lead these experiences, like, what are you seeing the transformation, the shift in others?
Oh man, dude. So, to give a little context, I'd say 70% of my entire life, I struggled with some type of mental illness, whether it was anxiety, severe and mild, or depression, or something in that realm. So, struggling with those illnesses and going down the traditional route of medication and yada yada, I had a deep, I had something very deep in me that wanted to heal because I didn't want to feel like that anymore. Mm-hmm. And if you've ever struggled with mental illness, you know that when it's happening, all you want to do is feel better, man. When you're having a panic attack, it's like all you want to do is survive. You think you're going to die and you don't give a fuck about anything. You're like, I need to do something and you can't escape yourself. So, not to give my whole story, but I tried so many different things along my journey, whether it was changing my diet, whether it was meditation, whether it was acupuncture, whether it was flotation therapy, whether it was talk therapy, whether it was hypnotism. Like, dude, I tried it all, man. And I mean, I really tried it all, even the traditional route as well. So it's been a hell of a journey. But in 2019, beginning of last year, I found holotropic breath work. And fuck, man. Up until that point, I had been doing very deep meditative practice, very deep healing stuff, but nothing quite did it for me, where breathwork put the final nail in the coffin of my anxiety, of my depression, of all that shit. And, Dr. Joe says it, when you change your energy, you change your life. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, they hear that, they may understand it intellectually, but a lot of people don't know what that fully means and embody it. So my first understanding of that statement was when I did my first holotropic breathing session, which was just straight inhaling and exhaling for an hour and a half. And fuck, man, I went on a journey of a lifetime. I feel like I healed lifetimes of shit, and I relived every fear came up for me. And I looked at it from an observer, and I understood why all of it had to happen to get me to this exact moment of deep transformational healing. And I understood that I had to go through those experiences so I could relate to others to help them heal.
Boom.
So that was my first kind of journey. There was a few other things that happened. If you're familiar with Kundalini,
here we go.
I had a Kundalini awakening, you can call it whatever. I was convulsing. I was seeing all types of stuff, and it changed me, man.
Were you in a Kundalini class, or were you just doing this on your own?
This was just holotropic.
Holotropic. Can you explain holotropic breathing for everyone that might not know? Like, give us a little tutorial.
So holotropic breathing is literally just breathing like this. So you're taking it deep into your stomach,
out of your mouth,
and letting it fall all in and out through the mouth. And you do that for an hour and a half straight. You don't stop. So the key is to just breathe it in, let it fall, breathe it in, let it fall. And holotropic, it's a Greek word. It actually translates to returning to wholeness. And it was adopted by Stan Grof, who's the creator of holotropic breathwork. And I mean, that word is perfect, because when you do holotropic breathing, or really a lot of breathwork in general, people come out of it and they feel, like Pedro was saying, a sense of aliveness, a sense of power, a sense of like, wow, I feel so good. It's because you're literally taking your life force back. And you're working with your life force energy, which is coiled up at the base of your spine, which goes to the Kundalini stuff. So
the root.
Is it better to do it in the morning, or like if you do it closer to bed, like are you gonna have issues going to sleep?
So there's different types of breathing you can do. If you're gonna do holotropic, I would not recommend it in the evening time. Because it's going to charge you up. I did a session with my good friends, Helen and Lucas, who also teach holotropic breathing, at like 6, 7 p.m. Dude, I was up until 4 a.m. I was just charged, man. But
I did 10 minutes of yours. I was charged. When I did 10 minutes of yours, before we go on, I want to say something about that. So like at the 8th minute, I had this thing where I was like, I had my eyes closed and I'm doing it. And then like, at 8 minutes though, like it got too much, and I knew that was a possibility just because so I just fluttered my eyes open, but I kept doing the breathing, because I was lean in, so I kept doing the breathing, and I was like, whoa, like this is a lot. And then the squeeze came where you squeeze everything to the crown of your head.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, like that was the point of it, is to like get it to that state,
build you up,
and then build you up and then shoot it up and then out. And then you're like, I'm ready to roll.
And that's a great way to work with your Kundalini. It's called power breathing, or I don't even know if that's necessarily labeled when you do the fast inhales and exhales and then squeeze. Some people call it trauma breathing. But that literally, man, what I was saying in the beginning, that what you're doing when you're doing breathwork, you are changing your frequency. You are changing your energy, and you can literally feel it in your hands. Some people's hands cramp.
Tingly.
Dude, tingly all over your face. Some people have crazy energy movements, but that's because our body keeps score of everything that's ever happened to us in our lives. So when we start breathing after 10, 15, 20 minutes, man, you're tapping into the deepest parts of your subconscious mind. And if you want to heal your anxiety, if you want to heal your trauma, if you want to heal your depression, if you want to heal your suicidal thoughts, you have to go deep. And for me, I've had these things, so I've never been scared to go in that direction, because like, fuck, like what could be worse than what I'm feeling right now? So I think that's kind of what like gave me this beautiful drive to go really deep, which was why I did that created that meditation for you guys. That's like a 10-minute version, but in person, what I do with people, my girlfriend and I, we'll take them on hour and a half journeys of a mixture of what we've just created on our own. We haven't labeled it yet, but it's a combination of different things I've learned through teachers and through my own intuition. And what I've witnessed, man, is some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, people opening their hearts, people releasing trauma, people connecting with passed on loved ones, like deep stuff, man. So it's, for me, it's been the number one thing bar none on my healing journey. I mean, I do it every day, every single day I do it. I don't miss that. Like, I just can't.
Yeah, no, that's it. I get it.
Yeah.
You know? That's the medicine in this moment. Like that's
it
thing,
is,
you know?
man.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, Brian, have you ever tried it?
I tried like Wim Hof breathing and I liked it. And I didn't stick to it because I just like yoga's my thing, but I recently been doing Kundalini and I had like a Kundalini awakening from freaking breath work. And it was like intense. It was like, maybe it was like last Thursday or the Thursday before. Like I was fucking like uncontrollably crying in the class. Like, for sure. And I was just going to, I'll tell a story. So I was just going to a rebirthing workshop.
Nice.
And it was my favorite instructor. His name's Adi Singh. And I started like my yoga journey really back in 2012 or something like that, doing Kundalini. So I see the workshop and I'm like, it's a rebirthing workshop. Cool. Like, I'm just going to go take notes, whatever, you know? So I go there and like, there's a little, there's a projector, like, you know, like we're going to watch a video and I'm like, oh, cool. Like I'll prop my yoga mat, like towards the projector. Like I didn't bring a notepad, but fucking cool. I'm just going to chill and like learn some shit today.
Worst note taker anyway. Wouldn't have mattered, bro.
Yeah. I don't take notes anyway. So then I'm like, so I'm listening to the lecture and then all of a sudden, like, they're like, all right, like get on your knees and like put your hands on the mat and like start like holotropic breathing. Like you're saying, like in and out, like you're almost having a baby, like you're giving birth, you know, in and out, in and out, in and out. And it felt like an hour, but maybe it was like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And I'm like, at first I'm like, dude, this is fucking uncomfortable. Like I feel like I want to crawl out of my skin. Like, these emotions are coming up. I'm like, holy shit. Like I might die. Like I might die. I feel like I might fucking die. And then like, I start thinking about like past and like trauma and shit. And then like, it was just like all fucking unleashed. Like I just couldn't control it. Like it was just all coming out. And then we did some other breathing things like breath of fire. And then we meditated and we like chanted. And I felt such peace, like that I was just on my yoga mat and like, this was the moment and I was in the present moment. And like, no matter what, like no one can steal like this joy that I feel, you know, because, you know, I just strive for things and I'm like trying to fucking get things. And like, I'm worried about everything, worried about my family and just worried about all the shit that I can't control. But like, I was there in the moment and like, I could control like my breath. And I was just very like, it was just such a peaceful time. And like, I've like struggled with anxiety and like mental stuff and like anger and all that shit. And really like, I've tried so many different things. Like you were saying, like I've tried so many fucking different things. Like yoga helps. Like, yeah, yoga helps, but it doesn't fucking help. Like as much as like that moment when I was like breathing and Kundalini and like, it was like really came down to like the breath work that really fucking got me into that present moment and like made me feel like actually calm, you know, calm for a couple of days. Like I need to get back to it.
Dude, yeah. And you know what I love about breath work? I think this is my favorite thing I love about it is, although people facilitate it, I facilitate it, I guide it for people. You are being your own master because you are using your breath to heal, man. Like you really like the person guiding. Of course it's important. Of course you need someone to hold space and push you and this and that. But like, there's this beauty, like, cause the whole guru thing, man, I don't do the guru thing. I hate the guru thing. There's just something beautiful about just sitting down and just breathing. And it's crazy how our breath is literally our life force. It's the first thing we do when we come to this planet out of the womb. It's like the first thing we do is take a breath. So it's like before we can heal deeply in a breathwork session, you have to see your shit. Like it comes up, man. Yeah, like, does. It's like, I always feel like I have this, like this little picture I see in my mind of like all of the traumas are just like right below, like the issues are in the tissues. So our body literally stores these memories and breathwork just brings it all to the fucking surface. And there's a moment when you see it and you're just like, oh fuck, I gotta go there. And then you're breathing and you go, and then it's gone. It's literally gone, man. Because that's you're taking your body out of those past states, and you're becoming present. You're letting go, and it's energy. So you have to get there somehow. So I feel like the breath work is just like a dagger that just fucking stirs it all up, so it can be released, man, and we can be free again. So I do it every day, man. It's always more shit to work on.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, you have to get that shit out. Everybody listening, like what you have to get the trauma. You have to get that bullshit out of your system. Like whether it's sitting in pigeon or breath work or taking a fucking walk, like or journaling, like what you repress becomes stress. Like if you're going to repress that stuff, like my therapist told me that one time, like she said, like hold on to this shit. And it's like what you repress, like hold on, becomes stress. So like, and what you don't deal with will deal with you. That was like really like game changer for me, because like no matter what, if you hold that shit, if you hold it in, like you might be okay for like a year or two, and then some shit down the road, like
that has nothing to do. Yeah.
It's going to fucking unleash.
Totally.
You know? And I'm learning to like, I'm learning like, especially like right now, like with my journey, like I'm learning to like make sure I don't repress things. Cause like it's tough for me to like deal with my emotions sometimes. Like, and that's why yoga really helps and like breath work really helps. Cause I can like fucking figure things out a little bit. But yeah, if you repress that shit, like it will fucking deal with you.
Well, dude, it manifests in so many forms. I mean, people, alcohol, drugs, you know, what the heck is a midlife crisis? Like, what does that even mean? Why is this a thing? It's because people have so many fucking biled up emotions and experiences that they haven't processed. So externally, they have to act in this crazy way to try to cope with these things in their lives, because they never did the work in the beginning, which is, you know, it's crazy, man. So yeah, I think it's I get so passionate about it because I love it, man.
Yeah, no, the breath is everything, man.
Breath is everything. And like, so this is coming up to me, and I don't know where I saw this, but it was something about like cigarette smoking. Like really like one of the reasons why it is addicting is because people can take a deep breath. Like when they're smoking a cigarette, like they take that deep breath, or they go outside and they just can breathe. Like they just take those deep breaths. So they're really getting more of an oxygen high than the actual chemicals in there. And I don't know, I don't remember like what I watched, but it was like a documentary on like breathing and why cigarette smoking like is addicting, because it's those deep breaths. But like, yeah, just imagine like if you're quitting smoking and like you miss out on that time where you go outside and you take those like mindful, it's like almost like a mindful breath with the cigarette. Well, you can do that without smoking. And you can also do that if you've never smoked before. You can go outside instead of take a cigarette break, and you can have a fucking deep breath break.
Yeah. Wow. There it is. I do it. So like even before this show, I did just 5 minutes of, it helps me get present and in state, man. And it's great. It's a great tool to have in your toolbox for like before a meeting or before you walk into your house after a long day and you present yourself to your family. Like, who do you want to be? Like the stressed out, unpresent person, or the calm kind of collected master? Like, you know?
Yeah. That's exactly. And that was part like in golf, like coming back to golf, like that was part of my pre-shot routine is, you know, I took a couple practice swings and I took a nice breath in and out. And then I walked up to my ball and hit, because that like calmed me down and relaxed me, you know? Yeah. So it's like, no matter what you're doing, if you're a librarian and you're going to put that book back on the fucking shelf, like take a nice deep breath and then put the book back on the shelf.
That shit up there.
What's up with us in the librarian today?
I don't know. I want to be a librarian though. That sounds peaceful, like mindful.
Super chill. That's
super chill. Quiet. It's quiet there.
Dude, it's quiet.
You're in meditation all the time.
Yeah. Perma meditating. Well, boys, this has been an amazing episode of the show, Down the Rabbit Hole, episode 2, volume number 2, we'll call it. Volume number 2 of Down the Rabbit Hole with Anton, Brian, and me. These are so fun. You know, it's just insightful to have Yeah, it's just nice to have a nice organic conversation about a couple topics that are kind of hitting home in our realm and that we know will add value to listeners. So please share this with your friends if you think it would add value to them. We appreciate you listening and tuning in. Anton will be back next month and we'll jam on some other things. If you have some feedback and you're still listening on this, if you could send us a DM or an email with any topic that you want us to jam on that's hitting home in your life, we would love to jam on it. So with that being said, boys, have a great night. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, my friend. It's been a pleasure.
Great, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Of course. And we'll put all the links below, how to check us back out on the yogishow.com and how to find us and connect with Anton, Brian, me, and the whole kit and caboodle. So namaste, my friend. Namaste at the library.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for listening to the Yogi Show podcast. This is the season 1 finale. We appreciate each and every one of you supporting the show, commenting, providing reviews. You can go to theyogishow.com and we provide you all the show notes. You can listen to the replays of the previous episodes. And thank you so much to DJ Taz Rashid. He has been so amazing throughout season 1 with providing his music for us. Definitely go check out the yogishow.com. And until next season, namaste and gratitude each and every one of you.